Tarek Amin, founder and CEO of Textile today, welcoming you all to TexTIME, Textile Today Innovation Meets. So this is a seminar cum talk show. This program is being presented by Colourtex and powered by TextNoter. And of course, special gratitude to SEMS Bangladesh, who has been facilitating or given the opportunity to organize this within their exhibition, DICAM and TexTech. So the topic you already know, remaining sustainable amid uncertainties. So we will go into the topic, deep into it. We'll try to understand the situation. We'll try to come out with some of the suggestions and solutions. And the panel today, of course, will attend you, and we will take the opportunity to learn from them. So at the beginning, I would like to welcome my panel guest today. I would like to request to come on the stage Mr. Hasib Uddin, PhD, Chairman, APS Group. Dr. Hasib Uddin, Chairman, APS Group. Please give a big hand to Mr. Hasib Uddin. Now I'd like to request Muhammad Hafizur Rahman, Chief Textile Officer, Fakir Fashion Limited, to come on the stage, please. Muhammad Hafizur Rahman. I'd like to request Mr. Kazy Muhammad Iqbal Hossain, South Asia Regional Sustainability Manager of Lindex. Mr. Kazy Muhammad Iqbal Hossain. And Mr. Amin Khoja, DGM Technical Textile Dyes Colourtex Industries Private Limited. Mr. Amin Khoja. Thank you very much, and special welcome to the panel guests. So you can understand the panel we tried to make, including participations from whole the value chain, from brands to the suppliers, input suppliers. So before we start, listening from them, I would like to give a small pitch on the topic today, what we will discuss. So the topic you know already, remaining sustainable amid uncertainties. So why we are telling this? Uncertainties, we'll try to understand that, and how the pattern of sustainability would be within these days. Well, there are sustainability experts on the panel, and also I am seeing a lot of colleagues from the industry, those who know it very well, at least better than me, of course. But when we talk about sustainability, we talk about these environmental aspects of it, economic aspects of it, social aspects of it. And these components are interconnected. And at the end of the day, we do this for people, planet, and of course, when it is business, profitability is also a key. So economic component many of the time is not really well discussed, in particular when it is regarding the manufacturers. So manufacturers like us who are considered to be manufacturing in cheap rates, so it is even more challenging for us. So I think we will try to understand the economic sustainability, where is the profitability, and how we can remain profitable among these uncertain times. And everybody knows it. I think the news has reached to many of you. About 6 months back or 1 year back, we were having strong growth, but through last 3 months or 4 months, and to the next 3, 4, 6 months, what we understand is decline in orders. So many companies are running out of orders, and they are running, below their capacities. So there are happenings all around the world. Just coming back from a COVID situation, and then we have this war between Ukraine and Russia. Many others are also engaged over there, and we see very big inflation in Europe, even in our countries as well. So a recession probably is knocking, though none of the people, people are not telling it yet recession, but many are forecasting a recession. So that's why what we see is a consequence. Many brands are careful about booking their orders, and many are requesting to delay their shipments. So this is a reality we are going through. And we are also going through uncertainties in terms of stability of currency. We know US dollar, value of US dollar for us is going up very strongly. So there is a strong component there in terms of negotiation. When we are negotiating for cents, now in a day, Taka is losing money. The rate is very high, so it has a big impact. So when buyers are looking for putting orders, so these are the factors in their mind. We are seeing many other countries. There are few other countries where currency devaluation is even more than Bangladesh. So these factors are in front as well. For us, the manufacturing cost is increasing. So when we are an exporter, when the US dollar is costlier, it is good news, but once again, we are manufacturing in the country, so inflation is a result. So it has a direct impact. So everybody's life is getting tighter. Manufacturing cost is increasing due to this fuel price hike and also the daily commodity materials price hike. And many other cost rises are there as well, including the shipments and logistics. In terms of environment, I think this year in particular, we are seeing a lot of calamities like the previous year as well. And these are coming in new dimensions, in new areas, it seems. So we are seeing drought and flood, simultaneously in some part of the world. And in other area, we see heavy rainfall. So the supply chain is being affected. Agriculture production is being affected. So the raw material prices is going up, and uncertainties are there as well. In the textile area, in manufacturing, so we are continuing to use a lot of resources. So no doubt about that, we need them to use. So in particular, dyes and chemicals are being blamed for these sustainability issues. So this is in front of us. And then we have some regulatory issues as well. From European Commission, they are drafting a regulation which may have a big impact in coming days, because they are talking about circularity, they are encouraging recycling of the products. And we know the fast fashion era, they are talking about something opposite now, durable fashion. So these things are in front of us. We will try to focus on that as well. In terms of technology, fourth industrial regulations are in front of us. So automation is asking a question whether we go for it or not. So there are, issues, how transparency and more control on the operation will help us, how the investment will give us the return on this. So these questions are in front of us. And at the same time, we are seeing enormous growth in green manufacturing in Bangladesh. So green factories are increasing, and many companies, they are going for renewable energy, investment in renewable energy as well. In terms of social sustainability, the pressure of paying the people in the industry is increasing, but at the same time we are struggling with the productivity. So worker efficiency is one of the lowest in the world in Bangladesh, though we have been doing this garment operation and textiles for a long time now, but still we have a lot of area to improve. So, and then the sustainability metrics, we have a lot of area and a lot of questions. So I would like to put it to the panel from now on, and we'll try to get into it and we'll try to understand more. So I will request all of the participants, those who are listening, please engage with us and raise your hand anytime for any comments and any question. So I'm going back to the panel now. So my first question would be to Iqbal Bhai, because the value chain starts from top. So naturally it goes to the brands. So Mr. Iqbal, he is the South Asia Regional Sustainability Manager of Lindex. So we, understood some of the uncertainties and some of the situations going on in our market, in the US and Europe in particular. What is your understanding? What is happening over there? So can you please enlighten us a bit?
Yes. Thank you, Tariq bhai. So you brought the right point. Obviously, the economic recessions, highest inflations, this year we are facing a lot of challenges, and these challenges is not local challenge. It's all over the world. So almost all over the world, people started to save money, be conservative, don't want to use or buy a lot of things, and especially people cannot be efficient in food. So food is mandatory. Then after food, obviously every customer or even everyone is trying to save some money, and so they reduce to buy the garments or fashion products. But anyway, this is something we need to understand, and that maybe, and this is also a human behavior, when we face some new challenges at the beginning, the response is quite aggressive. Like people started to stop buying or no, don't buy enough what we expect, but the situation will improve somehow at some point of even next 2-3 months. What I can understand, what we can expect from the brand perspective, the situation will be normal, but I can also assume that it will not the problem like the Russia, Ukraine, the war, and then after COVID situation. So it will take time to situation to be fully normal, but within next 3-4 months, we can expect that the consumer will buy more because the new year is coming, and then we have Christmas. So in that time, obviously, the more Bangladesh can produce more for those events, and especially in European market, I can see still just few minutes back, I saw a news that still Bangladesh is almost highest in European market because just about to touch China. So the reduction of business are mostly not coming from European part rather than US part, where the inflation rate is very high, or even I can say the highest. So anyway, and then for the European consumer, they mostly still they love the Bangladesh products, and Bangladesh produce good garments for them, and obviously the product range that Bangladesh produce, like Bangladesh now the knitwear garments, Bangladesh is the top in the world. Even, and now denim is becoming again the highest era. So I don't think it will be a problem. There is a temporary, there are some critical situation. It's almost after the summer, there is also a non-peak, it's not a peak hour, peak season. So I think there is nothing to be worried. The situation will improve, but to be fully normal or to expect to even increase the business, it will take some time. Nobody knows. Even I cannot conclude anything. Thank you.
Thanks for giving the perspective. Some people are telling that this order fall is the consequence of stock or inventory what the brands they have in their stores, and also that was in the supply chain because there were fear regarding the shipment process, so brands they overbooked after the COVID. Is it true?
It's not fully true. Obviously, it's a conservative behavior. Brands are even still brands are cannot forecast the business because everybody is in uncertain conditions. So that's the reaction. First reaction: be slow. I don't believe maybe there are some brand can or say they are stopping the production or they are trying to or say, what I can say that the place work order which already placed they're trying to stop it, but that's not the major case. It's only a few cases can be. Most of the brands they are just trying to give the message that be slow. I will give you the decision within few days or next few days. So most of us, in all cases, during the crisis situation, it's better to keep your head cool and be conservative in taking decision. So this is just an first step. And there is, I can assure you, at least from European side, there are nothing to be worried much.
Thank you very much. Just last question to you before I will go to Mr. Hasib to understand the manufacturer's reality. So, the last one I wanted to know is, for example, as your company, what the strategy you are pursuing on, bringing back the confidence to the customers?
This is the communication. Transparent communication is required from all parts. The brands, supplier, now we call business partner, no supplier and customer. So the business partner, whatever challenges that the brands are facing, that should be transparently communicated with the suppliers. And obviously brand have some directions, brands have from business forecast, business plannings. If they transparently communicate with the supplier will see the reality, obviously, and the confidence will build.
Thank you. Hasib bhai, to you, please, do you, first of all, do you agree with the situation? How do you see it? How's the reality for you and your friends?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you very much, Tarek bhai, for inviting me here in this program. Basically, having full respect for whatever Iqbal bhai has been saying, I have little disagreement. If we look into Maslow's hierarchy from the academic perspective, the first thing we want to ensure is food. The next thing we want is to secure ourselves. And then the third thing that we look into is the clothing. Now, the household budget in the Western world cannot be changed. Like if I earn 100 taka, I cannot, as he has rightly mentioned, that, I cannot reduce my food consumption. I cannot stay in the street. So that budget has to be untouched. Now the area where we can start, compromising is the area where we spend for clothing and other stuff like socializing or the recognition. So, I have little disagreement on this. And I see that because of the economic recession, that's what the Western world is going on. We heavily depend on the Western world for our orders. The orders has declined. The situation, as you have rightly mentioned, that uncertainties, the situation is really uncertain. Yes, you have tried to raise the question that if because of the garment that is been ordered by the brands during the COVID period to secure their supply chain, those garments they are trying to sell. I came to know from some of my friends that there are lots of retailers who has got plenty of garments in their store. So these garments were in the supply chain process. Now that's what they are trying to sell. If the consumption by the consumers during the end of the year, means the Christmas and New Year, if they buy a lot of garments, only then we can expect to have raise in the order placement. The situation is really, really gloomy and uncertain. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And your understanding on the information you were getting, so, the gloomy you were seeing it, many times, we could not really calculate properly. For example, last year when we had very strong growth, many told later that these growth are really not volume growth, these are only the price growth. So that was a false growth, at least in some perspective. Now again, when the slowdown we are seeing, is it the real slowdown, or, how do you term it?
Very interesting question. Actually, the growth that we have experienced during the COVID period, yes, there was a major contribution because the raw material price went up, so we had to sell at a higher price. You are absolutely right on that. But the decline that we are experiencing now, I have a little disagreement on that. I mean, like, it's not the opposite direction. The orders are not coming, which is a fact. The brands are conservative, they are not placing any orders. It's a very scary situation. I'm sure you guys, all of you guys are from this industry, and you have some level of similar kind of experience. That's what we are going through. Thank you.
Thank you. And, sometimes we wrote as well, whenever, new season comes up, every time we see there is a trend, most of the brands, they do some delay in putting orders. So they try to create some panic. I don't know whether it is, intentional or not. And then the factories, the owners, they fight for orders and they reduce the price. So I will discuss this later, this topic. But the question to you is, if really, the order is less, people are telling, or at least, they are suggesting it is about 30% less order. So now, how you are running? What should be the strategy for this?
Well, it's again, it's a very wonderful question. Actually, uncertainty is something that we do not know what are our challenges. Now, the best thing to fight against challenges is by developing the capabilities what we have. Let me just try to go back, like at the beginning of our industry, we used to have an absolute advantage of cheap labor. In course of time, our labor cost has started increasing. We are not that competitive from that perspective anymore. Now, in the slide, in the presentation that you have seen, the efficiency of our worker is not so high. Whereas Sri Lanka has got 3 times more efficiency than that of us. We need to find out how we can remain competitive. If we can find that out, of course, we will be able to survive, we will be able to sustain in this uncertainty. Now, it's a big question how we can remain competitive in the global RMG perspective. That's a big discussion. We can bring that down during our conversation, discussion today.
Thank you. I will come back to you because this is the secret. Many of the manufacturers, those who are listening from here and also from our social media pages, will be eager to know from you. And now we have Hafiz Bhai, who is Chief Textile Officer in one of the biggest and one of the well-known factory here, Fakir Fashion. So many of our readers, they wonder, the efficiency and the growth you brought to your company, through last decade. And recently we heard that your factory itself was going on 50% of the order in your garment floor. First of all, is it true? And then my question, what I asked Mr. Hasib, what you will respond on this, because you are the engineer and you are directly involved in this. How to cope with this within the situation running in a lower order?
Thank you, Tariq, to invite me and giving the opportunity to speak with our fellow engineers and some of the good entrepreneur like Hasib bhai. Actually, it is time to prove ourselves. If there is any challenge, there is some opportunity. The opportunity is opposite to the challenge. So during this, we have faced several challenges in many years of the revolution of our industry, and every time our professional, our entrepreneur prove it to not to survive, but also to grow and find some new ways to come up in a stronger way. So this time actually what the Fakir fashion is doing, uh, they are strategically transforming their, the business strategy. So those who are, that having the traditional business those days or, long back, they have the time to revisit their strategy. So this situation will not remain definitely for sure, but the new situation, new challenges will come in future. So this time to making this strategy is very important, and that strategy might be in different ways, like the cost cutting ideas, like the efficiency improvement, like the product basket what we are dealing with, like the market what we are dealing at this moment. So many areas actually need to rethink and revisit at this moment. So what we are doing, we are onboarding some of the new customer what we don't think earlier, and as well as that the product mix what we have earlier, that we are mixing with some of the new flavor, new blend. As you know, we have a full setup in UK, in London. We have the design studio, and they are actually roaming around the globe, that what the buying tendency is changing of the customer. Definitely the customer will not buy that product that is cheap, or that is not necessary, or that is not actually they cannot survive with this product at this moment. What the other way rightly said, that the essential thing is important at this moment. So we, in that case, we are thinking of the circularity. In that sense, we are thinking to some new market, like that some online brand that is round the year they are doing the business. We never ever think about that that sort of business like Amazon. So this is actually we are moving at this running at this moment with full of concentration with the statistical things, that the market trend, that the product category, the efficiency improvement, cost cutting ideas, these sort of things actually we are planning and organizing.
So what I understood is it is a good news at least that you have a time now to revisit the strategy, to find out the scopes of innovation, and now you are more concentrating on diversification of your market and your products. So I will come back to you to listen a bit more. What is your findings on your works, and if some of the projects you can share with us, and how the advantages you are getting. Now I'd like to go to Mr. Amin Khoja, DZM Technical Textile Dyes, Colourtex Industries Private Limited. Mr. Amin is originally from Gujarat. So, one of the area we have been discussing about, many textile related connections are there. And your company is one of the leading dye stuff manufacturers. and well known for producing high efficient dyestuffs. When we are talking about sustainability and reducing cost, so these technologies are critically important. So my question is to you, what is the impact on the raw material supply line you see for the manufacturers in the garments? The cost is increasing over there, and what will be the upcoming, next 6 months or 1 year? How would be the trend for this?
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. As rightly said by you, that it is really an uncertainty in every segment, because when we are totally dependent on the orders of the garment manufacturers, and then that garment manufacturers are dependent on fabric manufacturers. So ultimately, when the fabric manufacturers are getting regular orders, our business is also based on that. So what we are observing now is that the raw material pricing and cost, all the cost is also totally uncertain. But at present, I am saying that because of the demand, less demand, the pricing is going slightly downwards of the dye stuff. So in case of the dye stuff, now we are expecting that, and we are predicting that some of the pricing and costing of the dye stuff will means it is going somewhat downwards, but not much. But it is because of uncertainty, it is not confirmed that how much it will go down. But ultimately, just because of the low demand and the market condition, the pricing of the dye stuffs will go somewhat downward. And in that condition, I understand that. And another thing is that to maintain this cost benefits to customers, we have to also focus on streamlining the production efficiency at our end, because when we are bringing raw material cost is down, when we are bringing our pricing down, then we have to also focus on what is the production efficiency and what type of consistency we are getting on the saving our resources. Because if we change frequently the products, we have also the resources change on the backward side, which will not be viable for us. So this is what my understanding, and which is what my observations nowadays, which is coming from last 3-4 months.
And what about other raw materials? Price of cotton, do you have any idea you can share?
Cotton
And another question is for you is, what is the situation now regarding this logistics and shipments chaos? Because whether it is normalized.
It is not yet normalized. Even as you have rightly said in your presentation also, that the shipment costings has gone higher, as well as the availabilities of the vessels are also one of the problems, right? So that is there. So shipment cost is one of the thing which is really giving impact to the final users, because previously the cost of the shipment which was there, and now it is increasing around 200-300% more. So that is ultimately impacting the dye stuff cost, or even any of the chemical cost. Even the same is giving impact on us when we are importing the raw material from outside. So that shipment cost is really giving a problem, and it is really not getting normalized till now.
Okay, thank you. And by this opportunity, we would like to learn a bit more about your company, Colourtex, and its sustainability promises. So I would request there is a video presentation to run that, please. And seeing this, I already have few questions for you. I will come back to you. Just for my idea, I would like to listen the recent developments in dye stuffs, in particular the reactive dyes. What are the technologies are coming? And another area, I think the audience would be beneficial to listen more about the evaporation and probably the discharge and liquid discharge area. We would like to listen from you. I would like to go back to Iqbal Bhai. Iqbal Bhai, you are in the industry for quite a long time, trying to make it more sustainable, and you are fighting for reducing water consumption, for increasing efficiency, and also saving the environment. What is your observation currently in Bangladesh? How do you see the industry in terms of water efficiency and sustainability aspects, environmental sustainability aspects?
Thank you. Tariq Bhai, you rightly said, I have very much positive view on this, positive feedback on this. I saw in Bangladesh 1:12, 1:14 layer ratios, huge amount of for 1 kg knitted fabrics dyeing, it requires 200 to 300 liters of water. Now, right now, what we are seeing in the factories, it's maximum 1:5 to 6. Someone is also practicing 1:2. So there are a lot of improvement happens. And technically, the industry become very sound. The peoples like Hasib Bhai and then Hafizur Bhai, they have done lots of R&D. There are a lot of R&D has been done and it's successful. And so in Bangladesh, regarding water sustainability, I see how it improved. So there are no question about that. But obviously we can see for new technologies, less new dyeing technologies coming. And now we are talking about at the brand perspective, we are talking about water-free dyeing. So that's how the human expectation increases. So, and obviously it will increase day by day, and then the factories, the technicals, engineers, and then chemical company, they are also responding. Thank you, Dargway.
Yes, thank you. And just to add a question on this, as a brand, what is your upcoming strategy? In which area you are focusing to work with the manufacturers?
Basically, sustainability is which is something we should not take emotionally, both brands and the factories, because there are a lot of things we can do, but we have to keep in mind that it should be, I'm just entering the Hasib Bhai concept, that it should be technically feasible, it should be economically viable, and it should be socially acceptable. So in the brand perspective, at least from my brand perspective, we are not aiming something which did not match all of these criteria. So right now, based on the current energy crisis, fuel price inflations, and the global climate condition, our main focus, at least Lindex main focus, is going on to aiming for renewable energy and carbon neutrality, carbon emission reduction. Because the value of water is not equal all over the world. This is not a right task. If you just ask a factories in Bangladesh to go for zero liquid discharge, where the more than 5 months, 6 months, there is a huge rainfall and there is a flooding is there. We have seasonal water scarcity. That's a seasonal water scarcity. We can take some actions to cope up with that situation. Obviously, we cannot pollute the water, but here at least zero liquid discharge concept, I don't find that economically feasible solution. Thank you.
Thank you. I think a striking observation. So very important. When you mentioned this, so what should be the discharge water treatment strategy and how should we look at it?
Water has a value. All water has value. When the textile factories discharge the wastewater, if it depends on the process chemicals. If process chemicals are safe, like Colourtex, the chemicals that you are producing, if it is safe enough, and wastewater are properly treated, as per national regulations. Obviously, the scientist and the Bangladeshi policymaker who develop the guidelines, who develop the standards, they are not illiterate people. They know what is the requirement for the nature. So the discharge wastewater, it's also have a value. An ecosystem develop on this wastewater. So now the aim should be to be ensure that these wastewater are properly treated. So if the wastewater are properly treated, it can be further used for irrigation. It can be used for fish cultivation. So I think that you have to keep in mind that all the water has value.
Yes, and for example, if unnecessarily or ineffectively we are going for this recycling and a lot of JLD concept, so as you have mentioned, we have to calculate back not only the financial aspects, even there is another environmental impact over there also for those technologies in terms of global warming and other area. So thanks for the feedback. It's interesting. On this point, I would like to ask Mr. Hasib Uddin, and we know that APS Group have done tremendous water stewardship. We investigated over there and we find out the exhaust process, who has been blamed long time for, as a water hungry process, and huge water consumption was there in exhaust. And Hasib bhai, personally, you have been working on that to save exhaust process, I would say, and tremendous development you brought about there, taking it towards about 25 liters on an average in the process. So what is your experience? What is the overall Bangladesh situation, and what would be our even for you also, what is the further savings point?
Thank you very much, Tarek bhai. You have been always kind to mention that we have done something as far as water saving in the exhaust method is concerned. Well, the thing is that, as Iqbal bhai was saying, that there was a point of time when Bangladeshi dyeing factories were consuming 100 to 200 liters of water for processing 1 kilo of fabric. Now, the better side is that most of the factories down here in Bangladesh is consuming around 35 to 70 liters of water, depending on their machine process and so on. I personally think that whatever the machine we have, if we focus on mid-management training, like the person who is running the factory is most of the cases not operating the machine. If we train the mid-management people in the factory or the lower management people like operator or floor in charge, supervisor, then with the machine, the kind of machine that we have, we can reduce water consumption somewhere between 25 to 35 liters for any kind of fabric, for any kind of color. Like in our factory for light colors, right at this moment, we are consuming around 15 liters of water. I dream to come up with a machine in next 1 to 1.5 years that we will be consuming around 12 to 13 liters of water for processing only black fabric. So, if we can think of something, doing something like that, then we all should be able to do it, because we are not doing any magic. The most important thing is that we need to focus on the mid-management people who is basically running the show in the floor shop. So in the dye house, I would like to request you all that please try to improve the quality of the mid-management. Try to train them, give them an orientation, give them the idea that how the machines are designed, how they should operate them. And I'm pretty certain that if this area is catered, we will be able to reduce water consumption drastically. Thank you.
Thank you. I think there will be a lot of questions on this. Maybe, of course, you can ask any other question also. So I would like to, request the audience, please prepare your question and you can raise your hands. Now you can join also in the discussion. You are welcome. So by this time, Hasib bhai, what Iqbal bhai has mentioned about this JLD issue. How do you see that? What is your perspective?
Thank you, Tarek bhai. Actually, I completely agree with Iqbal bhai on this. I mean, there is a area. I mean, like we need to measure. I mean, as he has mentioned that if the investment is technically, feasible, economically viable, and socially acceptable or not. The thing is that the concept of ZLD, yeah, it is kind of possible. Like zero liquid discharge means we'll have to evaporate the water, and that has got a cost. Means we will have to use energy to evaporate the water from the effluent, to reuse that, or evaporate the water to the atmosphere. Now, that is a very expensive process. Now, we will have to see if any sort of investment or any sort of initiative, whether it's economically viable or not. Sustainability has got three different pillars: economic, ecological, and environmental. So we will have to keep these three parameters, aspects in our mind when we decide about certain initiative. So I personally do not think that zero liquid discharge is a very great idea, but we should have the initiative to look into that, how we can reuse a certain amount of water. The other thing that Iqbal bhai tried to touch, but I would like to elaborate a bit. Bangladesh has got a big rainy season. Like at our factory, APS, we have been harvesting rainwater during the rainy season for last 8 years. And almost 45 days, we do not extract any water from the ground. So you need to understand that most of the dye houses here in Bangladesh collect water from the, we collect groundwater, we use groundwater. A single drop of water to go back to its origin takes almost like 50 years. Just imagine what is the amount of water we have been extracting from the ground and what is the situation. I mean, like, if you see that lots of earthquake we have been experiencing more and more earthquake, and Bangladesh being one of the earthquake prone zone, we should think of this, and we should try to use rainwater during the rainy season. It's not that very expensive. I mean, like, I hope I have answered to your question.
Yes, thank you. And also you have added other perspectives. So now I would like to come to Hafiz bhai. As a textile engineer and you have been working in another, prominent group. I think everybody of us know Urmi Group, and I have visited personally both of your factories. And for sure, in your factories also, you have done tremendous, growth in water reduction and improving efficiency of the process and adopting technologies. First of all, the target Hasib bhai has mentioned. How do you find it? Is it feasible, or what is your understanding on the level we can reach?
Actually, what I appreciate the initiative from Hasib bhai. Definitely, it is achievable, and he already achieved. I do not have any debate or argument. It's possible, but question is to maintain and sustain. And actually, there are a lot of parameters related to that water efficiency. And as a process engineer in long back career history, I found that what Hasib bhai mentioned, that is perfectly all right. That the mindset and the efficiency of the mid-level management, how they are taking that initiative, how they are conscious on this perspective, that is very, very important. With the traditional machine is still running in Bangladesh, but that the management initiative as well as the mid-level management concern is playing a vital role, no doubt. But technological advantage, day by day, it is increasing. That we have to cope up, and that is our destiny, definitely. Now, many brands are started talking of waterless dyeing, and I met that Adidas head in Myanmar Summit couple of years back, and to bring Adidas business in Bangladesh in the Urmi group. And one shot he proposed that can you invest waterless dyeing, CO2 dyeing in your premises? Then only we can promise, because we have a plant in Thailand and they are our partner. So business is connected such a way where that the initiative investment is directly connected, commitment directly connected to the business. So that the technological advantage we have to cope up for sure. There is an investment, there is an initial investment, no doubt. But you have to think about that payback in terms of not only money, in terms of all over the business sustainability. The technology means not only the machine, but also that the dye stuffs and chemical and the process engineering. That also we have to consider. Those days, the Colourtex guy is here. 5 years back, 10 years back, what is the fixation rate of the reactive dye stuffs, right? Now, how they made that R&D and came to that level that the fixation rate is high, hydrolysis is more. But those days, maybe 10%, even 20% dyes was hydrolyzed, even more than that. So if it is 20% dyes is hydrolyzed, you consider that the dyeing is one part and rest of the process, the pre-treatment, the after-treatment, how much water is required. So this is another thing. And then, yes, that we don't consider about the cotton, the nature of cotton. We all are, always doing the post activity. The knitting is done, batching is done, then dyeing and the delivery and then shipment. We are more focusing on the shipment and TOD, time of delivery. But we don't think about the cotton, what types of cotton we are buying, what is the nature of the yarn, what is the, how many lots we are going to use in the particular order or particular color. So this department in every process house needs to be established, and that is very vital. Not only the R&D, we talk about the R&D, the different forum. The product R&D, we means that the different types of product to capture the market, to satisfy the buyer. But in-house R&D, in terms of RFT, in terms of reduction, in terms of water reduction, in terms of energy efficiency, in terms of productivity increase, that sort of R&D is very important for any industry right at the moment. And for sure, those who work with me and those who visited me in several locations, the university student, what is called the MTO, our officer, some of the group is fully engaged and involved on that process only, particularly. They don't have any other job. They will do that, all the back process things. In the lab dipping stage, in the yarn lot management, this sort of things. So it is all together is a combined effort. Definitely, maybe Hasib bhai made these things that way. That's why he achieved that one. Yeah. But keep it sustained it's a big journey. It's a long way to go.
Exactly, and it's everyday work, and it's a continuous journey.
Uh, as Hasib bhai told that we want to go to the liquor levels MLR liquor ratio of 1:2, 1:3, as he's mentioned. But some of the needs factories has also started cold pad batch dyeing, right? So I personally believe is that why not we focus on cold pad batch then? Because cold pad batch is one of the very good process for energy saving also, for water saving also, right? And your lead time means whatever the process time can also be ultimately when you are running of 7 hours or 8 hours of the lot, you have to just only roll the material, and then you have to keep in a batching for 12 hours or 16 hours as per the requirement of the shade, right? Then the requirement majorly is coming that you have to invest in your padding, special padding mangles, which is
Yeah.
normally like Herbatech and coasters have already come
Thanks
up.
for the raising it, and we already have come up with the reality of technology, choosing technology, and
Yeah.
the options. So there are questions, and we will come back to
Sure,
you.
sure,
Thanks
sure.
for adding it. Mijan bhai, please raise your question.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Just to add, it is a very knowledgeable session. Just to add something, let's not mix up with COVID situation, post-COVID situation, and present geopolitical situation together, because in Europe and in USA during the COVID period, government provided lot of support to the people, even to the brands, to the employer, with huge amount of money for their salary, and in USA and you also in US, in UK. Presently, what they're doing, the government is, from their reserve. Presently, what they're doing, due to increase of energy price in USA, in UK, and also in EU, their government is providing subsidy to the service provider against the client who are taking the service like electricity and gas. So maybe 400 pound or 400 UK against each, just to give subsidy, just to allow their citizens to survive. And in COVID situation, the government paid salary to the brands or the employer. So that is two different scenario. Because what I'm saying all this, because the buying power makes the difference of the global market. Because if the client or customer, ultimate customer has a buying power, then the global industry will not fall, demand will not fall. But because of their purchasing power is shrinking now, that's why the global situation is different now. Because
So
government is no more.
you mean the uncertainty is real, and
Yeah, definitely real. And with the, you will see, within last, drought is going on in most of the European countries, and it's a record. Rain is just drying up. In Australia, because of the forest fire, they are scared. So something is going wrong all along Europe and Australia. And if this war prolongs much, whole economy of Europe and UK will crash, and there will be, there are other, geopolitics. They want to establish cashless society. They want to
Yes.
disunite EU, and
yes, there are a lot of things going on. Mijan bhai, just to please introduce you a bit for all of us.
I am Major Mizan, retired. I am working with Palmo for last 16 years, and presently project coordinator of one of the major project going on in Sri Hotto, Hamza Knit Dyeing Mills. It's about
Thank you.
700.
Thank you, Mijan bhai. Thanks for your enlightenment and adding it out. It's very important perspectives you have added. So few questions came up, some key questions. Iqbal bhai, can you touch on this? Because I was having a discussion with you during the COVID time, And those days we have seen that many brands, they stopped their shipments, and also the payments also they delayed it. So, but Bangladeshi companies, I mean, very interestingly and amazingly, they continued to comply with all the sustainability and compliance requirements. So how do you see it now, even when the factories are in real trouble with less orders, and when it is less orders, your capacity gamut is changed. So now your productivity and profitability is disturbed. So how do you see the factories are still coping up with all the compliance and sustainability requirements?
Yes, obviously. This is the best part of Bangladesh. It usually try to absorb all pressure. That's why in all cases, the Western people don't forget Bangladesh. Still, that's why still business is there. Because we have lots of limitation, but Hasib bhai and Hafiz bhai, there are lots of businessmen is there. They take huge pressure, and that's why the European people love Bangladesh. But I also want to mention the responsible business is for all, not only for the factories. It's also for the brands also. We have to agree on this. There is the brands or the retailers who are not doing business responsibly. Obviously, the factories, the Bangladesh government, then other civil society should raise voice.
Thank you. If the factories itself they raise, so they will echo, of course. I don't know if the factories they raise it. Asif, I will come back to you. Before that, Hafiz bhai, from your side, what's the magic you have? You continue to comply with all the sustainability requirements. Do you think that these things has come into the strategy or core DNA of the companies already in Bangladesh?
Yes, it is a core DNA of our management, and they are committed to be sustainable in terms of everything. Not only the environmental and social. Beyond that compliance, actually, they try to do something for the society as well. It is their actually core of their heart. They believe that if they earn something, they have the responsibility to give something for the society. So that's why almost all of the compliance requirement in terms of social, environmental, as well as that some of the project from any NGOs or any government supported NGOs, they try to cope up with these things for their satisfaction.
I think this is a groundbreaking change, because many times we have been listening the outsiders and the brands, they were suggesting what we should do and that. Now when the companies itself adopted it, understood the benefits of it, and they are committed, and it's amazing, in fact, to see Bangladesh. And Iqbal bhai, you are right that that's why only we see most of the brands, global brands, those who have reputation to their consumers, they are in Bangladesh. And we will try to discuss a bit on this if we have time. But before that, another pressing issue came up about technology adoption. I would like to touch it to Hasib bhai. Can you please share your understanding? Because you as a owner, most of the time decide which technology you are going for and which technology you are not. So what are the basis you look at? How other companies they can decide on this?
Thank you, Tarek bhai. It's a very, very strong question to be answered in few words, honestly speaking. As I have rightly mentioned, let me just tell you something. My research has been done on how Bangladeshi RMG can remain competitive. I have started my research before COVID. I have done my field study during the end of COVID, and I have finished my research just a few days back. So
I think we should congratulate you. So this is a news from all of you. Mr. Hasib Uddin has completed his PhD recently, so a big clap for him. So yes, and please you go continue sharing the research topic.
Yes, actually, the five exogenous variable that I have studied, one of them was technological capabilities. Now, to answer to the question, basically, you may have the best car in the world, but you need to know how to drive that car. So this is the main thing. Now we need to understand that Hafiz Bhai has clearly mentioned that they have a team, MTO, who are focusing on process enhancement. Whenever we select something, we need to develop the human resources. And that's why we don't call them human resource, we call them human capital. We need to focus in this area. The proper orientation to the technology is required. We need to train people, we need to train the MTOs to the operators to use the technology. I mean, I know many of the factories, they have the best probable machine, but they are still consuming a lot of water. They do not know how to use this stuff properly. We need to understand before selecting the technology that whether we have got that human resources to use that. If we do not have that, we should focus how we can train them, and this knowledge management, I mean, like, you have technology, but you will have to have the knowledge how to use that. And knowledge management is the area, this is the moderating factor that will give us the efficiency, that will give us the competitive advantage. So human resource is the area where we should focus to remain sustainable in this unsustainable situation. Thank you.
Thank you. I think questions are coming up.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Wahid. I come from Fakir Fashion. My question is for Hasib sir. Sir, it's very interesting that you are intellectually enriching yourself, and you have studied the RMG industry, and you are an industrialist. So my question is not directed towards you, but rather to the RMG industrialists. So just give me 1 minute to explain my position to you. So Joseph Nye is a Harvard professor, and he says that there are two types of power throughout the world. There's soft power and hard power. So hard power is the military power, and soft power is the media and other elements, foreign relations that we have. So within an organization, if you take that concept and if you apply that, so within an organization, as you have rightly said, that instead of calling the human resources, we call them human capital. So to some extent, you have identified that for an industry to survive and thrive and to remain within the business sphere, you recognize that the HR is extremely important and they need to be nourished. So as an RMG industrialist, what are the discussions that you, the RMG owners, are having whenever you are meeting through BGMEA, BKMEA? What are the discussions you are having with the government as well? That what initiatives should we take to grow this human capital? And in terms of practice, I've been working in the RMG industry for some time now, not too long, but some time, and I've seen that somewhere down the line, initially they start off with, they want to do something really big and they want to do something really good. But somewhere down the line, what happens is, because we are an industry based on SMV, minute is money, time is money for us. So these trainings and these development investment is not fully completed. So
thanks. I think I got your question. It's a macro level question. It's a very important one. How you mentioned about knowledge gamut and the importance of factories itself to becoming more efficient by knowledge and innovation. I think how the macro level, the country and the education sector can be connected with this. So this is the question, I think.
Well, thank you very much. It's a very nice question. To be very honest with you, cater to a macro level question, being a small entrepreneur in the industry is very challenging and difficult. To be very honest with you, I yet to belong to that segment who take the strategic decision for the entire industry, who deals with the government. I hope you understand, I have limitations, but from our end, being an entrepreneur, I try to communicate. I am trying to focus in this area in our company, number one. Number two is that I have been always a bit vocal with the media on the developments. That's what we are doing or we are trying to do. And that's probably one of the reasons why I'm sitting here today. So I'm really sorry to say, I'm yet to belong to that segment where I can really contribute to the industry on the strategic level. If I ever get the chance, definitely I'll try to design something that will help the entire industry. Thank you.
Hafiz bhai, do you want to add on this?
I will not add, I will ask another question to Hasib bhai. Once we compare with the efficiency level of Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, what is the difference? One of the difference is that their worker is educated. So educated means at least school or intermediate level, minimum. It's a minimum. So we have almost 40 years of industry. So why we could not develop our curriculum or training under the BKMEA or any other institution where we can develop our operator, educated operator, I mean. So that is, I think, one of our drawback in the industry. Is there any plan from the BKMA side or government side, or you push the government to put the curriculum to create the operator in such a way so that after 5 years or after a certain period of time, we'll get the educated operator who will really understand that the needs of the market, or they can compare themselves with the other countries' standard.
Well, another big question for you.
Well, Hafiz bhai, these are strategic decisions, it's very difficult for me to...
But now for you, there is a part of it. That is, even for others also, I think, that is, how much are you being able to pay? Hafiz bhai, you also, because you are asking educated workers. Now, in Bangladesh, we have a lot of educated unemployed people, those who are looking for jobs. So are we really being able to make our factories lucrative for them? Hasib bhai,
Very nice question. Very nice question. Actually, it's a very challenging situation that who will take the primary initiative. Like, say for an example, if we give the environment, if we say that we will pay the right price to our educated worker, if we want to encourage educated worker to come to the garment factory to sew their t-shirt, the product that we are producing, the gap is enormous. If they can have the efficiency what the Sri Lankans are having or what the Chinese are having, we can at least give them salary at least twofold, threefold more than that of what we are paying today, which is a reasonable amount of salary for an educated operator. Now the question is that if, say for an example, if we pay 10,000 taka to an operator, and if I say that please, we want to have educated worker and I will be paying 30,000 taka salary. The question is that if that particular individual will be able to give 30% more efficiency, 3 times more efficiency than that of the existing one. So this is a big question. It's a long process. This sort of macro issue has to be taken care of by the strategist.
Oh, well, this is one part of it. You know, you need the educated people, but your process also has to be like that. And you have to align everything over there because, you know,
You are absolutely right. I mean, like
the
if
supply chain and
yeah,
other.
yes, you are absolutely right. He has rightly pointed out this issue that the gap, that's what we are experiencing between Sri Lanka or Turkey and Bangladesh. The 15% gap can be mitigated by improving the supply chain. I mean, I personally do have the experience doing it. We have focused on the supply chain area. We have an individual supply chain team. We have seen a tremendous improvement in our productivity and production efficiency. So that is a contributing factor as well. Now, the problem is that whenever you are enhancing your productivity through supply chain development, you are investing your money on supply chain. You understand? So the operator's skill set and the process enhancement has to come from the shop floor level. Again, I mean, in my entire life, I haven't seen that a senior operator is given a proper orientation, proper training before joining to a new factory. Like, say for an example, maybe someone is making something very good, but it's not necessarily that he will be doing the other job very well as well. A rickshaw puller will only be, I mean, we cannot say a rickshaw puller will be a very good driver if we give him a car. He needs the orientation, he needs the training, and that has to be there.
Yes, so you know, you mentioned about this knowledge management spectrum. So this is a question as well, how the factories can design it and how we can integrate all those things on not only the activities should focus the managements or executives, how the workers also can be connected. I will listen from both of you. Before that, just a small video presentation from another sponsor of us, the powered by sponsor TextNoter, just to look at what it is. Search your jobs. The company profiles are there. You can update your profiles. Of course, there is a knowledge board. You can organize events. There is a buy-sell opportunity. You can put it for selling and you can buy your products. The forum, you can ask questions, share your knowledge. From the audience, please, there are a few hands raised.
Thank you. I'm from Sri Lanka. I'm happy to stand up here. And this is my second time I'm visiting Bangladesh as an entrepreneur in Sri Lanka who providing technology to the apparel industry last decades, because 18 years I'm having a good experience with the technologies like Lectra, Gerber, and I'm now doing the shapeshifter called the fabric saving management solution. And at the moment I'm working with the high-end suppliers, basically the manufacturers in Sri Lanka like Mars, Brandex, and High Germany. So I'm so happy you mentioned Sri Lanka, and I'm having a small idea on this situation. What I thought, maybe I'm wrong, but I should share with you guys this momentum of the industry in our Sri Lanka. You know, there are a lot of crises going on, fuel crisis and the USD crisis, everything. But fortunately, we are exporting around the highest volume of exports its last 2 months in total 30 years industry experience in Sri Lanka. So that means we are not far behind with these crisis environments. So only thing is the right way to move forward and adaptations like, when it's come to the orientation, you mentioned about the trainings and the technology involvements. So I would say in Sri Lankan content, we are a little bit much more front level players in the technology wise as well, well as the innovation side. So we are talking about the sustainability, but we talk about sustainability in Sri Lanka like 10 years, 15 years back. And I'm more focused on the technology side, and we are now in the digitalization 4.0. So we are talking about the automations level without the manpower or de-skilling the operators. So these kind of technology innovations and the what you call the technology leaders, if your industry can develop concepts like us, I'm using us because I am from Sri Lanka. So I hope with the finding with your PhD, I hope you understand the Sri Lankan content more than myself, definitely. And I really like this session, and I'm adding I don't have any questions because I'm very new to the industry for Bangladesh. And very recently, I thought I need to share my technology knowledge and know-hows with the Bangladesh market. That's why I came here. And thank you very much for the time.
Thank you for bringing the Sri Lankan perspective. Now again, when we started this discussion, uncertainties, once again, this is again a big perspectives. When you mentioned, you discussed it 10 years back. So I pray for a better future for both of us. So the Sri Lanka, we know that how the country itself is suffering. Even though you have the top technology, you have the knowledge, now even the macro things is so difficult. So these are the factors we are in. So that's why the things are so complex. Mr. Amin, can you please a bit inform us in terms of technology? The gentleman, Mr. Akib, he asked whether we have the enough technology or not. For example, in the dye stuff area, do you see really you are producing good dyes, I mean efficient dyes, or you are not?
Actually, there are a lot of new developments has come into the last 10-15 years in even reactive dyes also, in dispersed dyes also. Many of the dye stuffs have made modified in context to water shortage, the low water consumption into the dyeing. And that's why many of the dye stuffs which is now developed are developed in such a way that its hydrolyzed reactive dyes should have very low substantivity to the fiber. So when you continue the dyeing and after completion of the dyeing, your washing will be very fast and you can reduce the washing time because of the low substantivity of the hydrolyzed dye. So this is one area, and because of that, the fastness requirements of the different buyers can also be achieved with such type of dyes. So we have such type of dyes and we can provide the solution. Another development has come is that indeed this Greenpeace campaign of the detox campaign has also taken, means it was planned in 2020, but because of COVID, it has delayed.
Yes, the ZDSC.
ZDHC is
initiative.
in that we should have a sustainable dyes, and our company and many of the other companies have also produced this type of dye stuff, which should be totally free from cleavable carcinogenic amines and heavy metals.
And dye stuffs also are in the level 3?
Yeah, all our in ZDHC we have a 1300 dye stuffs in the level 3.
Okay.
So
and for the dye stuffs, what is the next technology you are looking at?
as Mr. Hafiz bhai is told that the Adidas person has also contacted, means he has contacted, and we are supplying to supercritical carbon dioxide dyeing also. So we are a manufacturer of that type of dyes also, and we are supplying through Daiku. Daiku is our partner in the machine side, and we are supplying from the dye stuff side.
Even the printing also, I have seen waterless printing. I mean, without the pre-treatment, now people are printing the fabric.
No, actually, it is in a digital printing. It is now
Digital printing,
digital
yes.
printing. It is now increasing because in digital printing you can shorten the process. Secondly, if you are doing a digital printing, then your consumption of water will be reduced because in normal printing you have to use lot of water for removal of the thickeners, and that all water will go to your effluent treatment, and you have to lot of solid waste which you have to send into the landfilling site.
Thank you. We will take the opportunity. I think the audience, they can contact you in person
Anytime,
as well to
anytime.
listen
Thanks
and
a lot.
understand
Thank you
more.
very much.
Iqbal bhai, there was a question for you. We had a discussion on this, but still you can see the resentments from the company people. How can you increase trust more?
Yes. Obviously, I am fully agree with you. Sustainability is not only for the factories. Sustainability is for the brands also. But one thing you keep in mind, the sustainability also gives you payback. That's also help you to be competitive. And one thing you need to keep in mind, Bangladesh, all the factories in Bangladesh, maybe my brand colleagues will not like me on that aspect, because Bangladesh, our initial thought was we focus on cheap retailers instead of high-ended brands. So most of those, due to their business nature, they will behave this way. And this is now Bangladesh. As a Bangladesh citizen, I believe now the main action from Bangladesh side is to be invite more value-added product, value-added brand instead of cheap retailer. And obviously, the global fast fashion era is going to an end, and slow fashion is coming on. Thank you.
Thanks, interesting. And another big question from Imdad bhai, how we can put more control on our price, Hasib bhai? We know that, we are in a supply chain where we don't have control on the market. Also, we don't have control on the raw materials, but still, how can you put more control on your price?
I mean, I honestly speaking, I do not know how we can do that, because if I say no to a particular price, my brother who is sitting next to me will say, okay, I'll do it at this price. Yeah, it's a big problem. The other thing that you have mentioned, that this regarding the spinners, every single business personnel is kind of, we try to take the advantage of the situation, and they will say that now the cotton price has started decreasing. Because of the low production, the cotton price will go up again. Honestly speaking, I mean, I do. The problem, that's what you are experiencing as the manufacturer, being the manufacturer, I experience the very same. And this is also my pain. That's the thing. But if you allow me 1 minute, regarding the technology adoption, and if our manufacturing facilities are well equipped in terms of technology or not, adding to your point, actually, I personally think that technological development is a continuous process. And I love to say that Bangladesh is adapting with that. Brother, you have mentioned about green factories. We do have the highest number of green factories in the world as far as RMG is concerned. That's the reason why you have 250 factories in your hand. So we Bangladeshi manufacturers, we are always open to adapting the technological advancement. That's what we are having. Now coming back to the point again, we need to focus on the human resource or human capital area. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Hafiz bhai, lastly, the technology issue.
Yeah,
If you
I
can
understand the technology issue, and the answer Iqbal bhai already given. Anish bhai question, that is not also enough. I like to connect few points. Yes, what Hasib bhai said is exactly right. The human capital. For me, that the investment what entrepreneur made to do the business, but the entrepreneur as well as the professional need to connect each and every equipment, each and every investment, even each and every investment ROI calculation, because the sustainability is directly connected to that equipment, that investment. If you consider that one EGB boiler, what is the cost? But what we are saving, what is the return of investment? That way, the how far I put the boiler and I am using the stem how far, and what is the losses of thermal energy. So each and every point need to be actually addressed and monitored so that the existing facility can be make a lot of initiative for sustainability issues, number one. Number two, the technology, yes, we have to adapt the new technology, but who will run the technology? The people. So investment on the people is very important. The people are the most valuable asset of the industry, but we are not focusing on that. That how that our competitor is getting the advantage in terms of efficiency, in terms of cost reduction, waste reduction. We have to looking forward in details and thorough and analyze how to save that area. Yes. And last point that what is Anis bhai question, that at this moment may not be important, but tomorrow, maybe next year, each and every sustainability KPI will be measured and buyer will show you your scorecard, and that will be connected to your business. You will not remain in the business until and unless fulfill their KPI in terms of water saving, in terms of energy saving, in terms of greenhouse gas emission, everything. Maybe the days are coming. We have to be prepared ourselves accordingly.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We will have to conclude it. Before that, just 1 or 2 minutes I will take to conclude the discussions we had. And thanks all from the panels and also the audience to connect the discussion. So important things came up. What we have seen that the Bangladeshi companies are prepared and aware and trying to cope up with the uncertainties and the realities coming up. And but you know, there are things which are not under control of the factories, and those may affect in coming days. But still, as a manufacturing or as a process, I think Bangladesh has proved itself that it is in the position and already is a sustainable source of buying for the buyers. Now we have a lot of things to work for the people itself, those who are contributing and working in the factories, from the workers to even to the owners also, because you need higher profit to invest more in innovation and knowledge development. For example, a platform like Textile today, what we are telling it as an innovation hub, we are also trying to contributing over there to connect knowledge, to connect resources. Sometimes you see the knowledge is not cheap, so the experts, you cannot buy them or you cannot engage them, but they come over there in the platform and openly share their knowledge for the benefits of the sector, for the benefits of the country. So we are trying to make it more popular, more attractive, as if everybody understands the power of knowledge and the power of sharing it, because when we share it, we all get benefit out of it and we can really grow together. So thank you all, and for today we will conclude it and hope to meet you again in next TexTIME. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.